When we put God's word first, obedience is accomplished. When we don't, even though we seem to believe in God, our own thoughts are given priority. And if we follow our own thoughts, we come to disobey God and make excuses. Since God sees our future, only God knows what is absolutely wrong for us to do in the way of salvation. Mankind doesn't know what is wrong. Let's look at Genesis chapter 22, verse 1. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. Here, God tested Abraham with a test of obedience. He said to him, "Abraham, here I am," he replied. Then God said, "Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will tell you about." Early the next morning, Abraham got up and saddled his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offerings, he set out. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar, on top of the wood. Then he reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. "Do not lay a hand on the boy," he said. "Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Abraham looked up, and there in a thicket he saw a ram caught by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. This verse depicts a test of obedience that is difficult for ordinary people to pass. God promised to Abraham, "I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky." If his only son, Isaac, dies here, he cannot have any other descendants. However, God told Abraham to sacrifice his son as a burnt offering. At that time, Abraham could have asked, "After I sacrifice my son as a burnt offering, how can I have my descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, as you have promised?" But Abraham believed in God. Abraham had absolute obedience to God. As a result, God set before him grace and blessing in all his ways, saying, "I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse." Everyone, how can we store up the greatest blessings in the kingdom of heaven? Living according to God's word is the way to store up the greatest blessings. It is the same with what happens in the family. Parents always give advice, thinking about their children's future. But their children often say, "Mom and Dad always nag us like that." Everyone, from a spiritual point of view, God guides us through various teachings in order to give us the brightest future. Noah lived according to his words, and Abraham lived according to his words. Even when they go to the kingdom of heaven, I am sure they will receive a glorious position. I hope that we too will never forsake any word that God gives us to guide us, but obey whatever word He gives us.
순종할 줄 아는 그런 여러분과 제가 꼭 되기를 바라겠습니다.